As cattle move through the production cycle from birth to beef, the Beef Checkoff assessment is due each time cattle are sold. This is true for all cattle, regardless of the breed or age of cattle sold. The checkoff assessment is due whether cattle are sold through a livestock market, an order buyer, or sold directly to another producer. The assessment is also due when cattle are harvested. The checkoff assessment is paid by the producer or withheld from the producer's proceeds from the sale. In states where a brand inspection is required at the time of sale, the brand inspectors may collect the assessment from the seller on behalf of the checkoff program and remit the checkoff assessments. Checkoff assessments are generally remitted to the Beef Council in the state where the assessments were collected. When reporting checkoff assessments, the people or companies who collect and remit the assessments list the state in which the cattle were located for the past 30 days. State beef councils can retain up to 50 cents of the $1 per head assessment collected on cattle from their state and send the remaining half to the Cattlemen's Beef Board. Let's look at how the checkoff is collected at the various stages of the cattle production cycle. Breeding. The checkoff assessment is due when producers sell cattle for breeding purposes. The seller has the primary responsibility of ensuring that the checkoff assessment is paid on cattle sold as breeding stock and remitted. Cow-calf. Many cow-calf producers sell their calves at weaning or shortly thereafter. If these calves are sold through a livestock market or a marketing organization such as a cattle dealer or a video market, the buyer is responsible for withholding the checkoff assessment from the producer's proceeds and remitting the checkoff assessment. If cattle are sold directly to another producer, then both the buyer and seller are responsible for ensuring that the checkoff assessment is collected from the seller and remitted to the State Beef Council. Stocker backgrounder. Cattle often spend time at a stocker backgrounder operation prior to entering a feedlot. When cattle are sold by the producers during this period in the production cycle, the checkoff assessment is due. The stocker or backgrounder buying the cattle is responsible for withholding the checkoff assessment from producers' proceeds and remitting the checkoff assessment. Feedlot. Most cattle spend time in a feedlot during the last few months of their production cycle, as they continue their journey toward providing high-quality beef for the consumer. When cattle are sold as they enter the feedlot, the checkoff is collected from the producer's proceeds and remitted. Packing plant. Finally, cattle complete the production cycle at a packing plant. The checkoff assessment is due at harvest, the only exception being when cattle are harvested for the producer's family or employees' use. The packing plant is responsible for collecting and remitting the checkoff assessment. The assessment is withheld from the producer's proceeds when the packing plant pays the producer. If producers have cattle harvested through a custom processor with the intent of selling the beef, then the producer is responsible for remitting the checkoff assessment on each head of cattle. Dairy. Dairies often sell male calves shortly after they're born. The checkoff assessment is due when the calves are sold. When dairies sell cattle or calves directly from the farm, they are responsible for ensuring that the checkoff assessment is paid. Imports. U.S. Customs and Border Protection also collects the checkoff assessment on all imported cattle and imported beef products. On imports, the checkoff assessment is remitted to the Cattlemen's Beef Board.